ready? Meet the Wonder Girls.
Spread the wonder!
They're an international pop sensation.
DJ's wine!
And they're coming to America to make it big.
Give it up for the Asian invasion!
But these haters aren't gonna make it easy.
We'll show you how a real group does it. We don't want any trouble. Too late.
Are they up for the ultimate girl group showdown?
For shizzle. We got a show to prepare for. Let's dance.
The Wonder Girls special, Thursday, February 2nd at 8 Eastern, only on Team.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the Nickelodeon original movie, The Wonder Girls. So, little disclaimer before we get started. This video is for entertainment purposes only. All of my sources are linked in the description. Please do not send hate to anyone in this video. This video is transformative and protected under fair use. So before we get into the actual movie, I need to get into the backgrounds of the people who made this movie happen. Very first up, we have JY Park, or JYP, who is a Korean singer, songwriter, record producer, record exec, and reality TV personality. In 1992, JYP made his musical debut in the group Park Jin-young and The New Generation, and in 1994, JYP made his solo debut with his album Blue City, which is where he found most of his musical success. However, one of the things he is most well known for is in 1997, he founded JYP Entertainment, which would become one of the most successful and profitable entertainment companies in South Korea. As head of JYP, he developed and produced many successful groups, including 2PM, Day 6, GOT7, ITZY, Kickflip, Miss A, Inmix, Rain, Stray Kids, Twice, Extraordinary Heroes, and Wonder Girls. And that is who we're going to be talking about today. So the Wonder Girls are the first girl group to debut under JYP Entertainment, and they debuted in 2007 with their single Irony. They are often called South Korea's retro queens, as their concepts were based on decades, specifically the 60s to the 80s. The original lineup included Yoon, Sunyi, Sunmi, Hyuna, and Sohee. In July 2007, Hyuna left and was replaced with Yubin. Their debut album, The Wonder Years, included the song Tell Me, which topped the Korean charts and brought them great success. This song also recently went viral again. In 2009, the group became a global success with their song Nobody became the first K-pop single to chart on the Billboard 100, with the song's highest position being 76th. This Western success led the girls to open for the Jonas Brothers World Tour on select tour dates, which began their push to the American market. In 2010, Sunmi left the group and was replaced by Hyram. In 2011, the group put out their second album, Wonder World, and in 2012, they had their own movie titled The Wonder Girls on Team Nick, which continued their push into the American market. Next up, we have Nick Cannon, who is an American TV presenter, comedian, actor, and musician. He saw commercial success in 2003 with the song Gigolo featuring R. Kelly, which peaked at 30th on the Billboard 100. He followed this up with his debut album Nick Cannon and later his 2013 album White People Party Music. In 2009, he founded his label Incredible Entertainment, and in 2009, he was also the host and chairman of Team Nick. The Schoolgirls were an American girl group who debuted under Incredible Entertainment in 2009. Their concept was that they were prep school girls, specifically kind of edgy, somewhat edgy prep school girls, and the group was put together by Nick Cannon around member Mandy, who in this photo was in the center, and the original lineup was Monica, Mandy, and Jacques. The group made their television debut on Party Monsters Cabo in 2009. In 2010, the Schoolgirls got their own Teen Nick movie, which featured cameos from many celebrities, including Justin Bieber and Soulja Boy. A month later, they released their debut album, The Schoolgirls, and in June 2010, they opened for the Wonder Girls at the House of Blues in West Hollywood. In December 2010, they put out a second Teen Nick film, A Very Schoolgirls Holiday. They also added members Sade and Lauren. In 2011, Mandy and Jacques left the group and were replaced with Natalie and Brittany. Also in 2011, the Schoolgirls announced they'd be featured in the Teen Nick movie, The Wonder Girls. So to recap where we're at, in 2012, JYP and Nick Cannon were both marketing their respective girl groups to a young audience in America. JYP had experience creating and marketing musical groups, while Nick Cannon had experience creating and marketing media to American TV audiences. Specifically, he had a lot of sway with Teen Nick, which had a lot of sway with young audiences. Theoretically, this should create mutually beneficial publicity for both the Wonder Girls and the Schoolgirls. Into the lineups, as there was a lot of lineup changes in both groups getting into the actual movie, I want to go over who we have in the lineups for the Schoolgirls and the Wonder Girls, just to clear that up before we start the movie. So for the Schoolgirls, we have Sade, Ray, Natalie, Lauren, and Monica, with Monica being the only original member of the Schoolgirls still in the group. As for the Wonder Girls, we have Yoon, who goes by Yenny in the movie, Hyram, who goes by Lim in the movie, Sohee, and Sunyi, who goes by Sun in the movie. We finally got to the Wonder Girls movie. Little disclaimer, this movie really heavily relies on racist stereotypes and also uses a lot of racist remarks. And I'm going to address those as they come up, but I thought I would just give a little warning. So the plot of the Wonder Girls movie opens up with the Wonder Girls on their way to New York for their American tour. On the plane, they meet Betty, who is a singer who had previously performed at the Apollo. The girls tell her how they grew up listening to Motown, and they ask Betty to tell them about the Apollo. Betty gives Yenny her card and says to call her. The girls get to their hotel, where we are introduced to their choreographer and Mitchie, their driver/tour guide. The girls have a day off and ask Mitchie to take them to the Apollo. Mitchie says he was told explicitly not to bring them there, but the girls eventually wear him down. When they get to the Apollo, and it is amateur night, and the girls decide to enter the competition under a fake name, the Asian Invasion. I also just want to note the reason that they do a fake name is because they're a professional group, not amateurs. So the Wonder Girls' main competition in this competition is the schoolgirls, who are very rude and racist to the Wonder Girls, telling them to go back to their country. The Wonder Girls and the schoolgirls both become finalists in the competition. The Wonder Girls miss their curfew, and we get a scene where JYP scolds them while wearing footy pajamas. This may be the best scene in the whole movie, in my opinion. The Wonder Girls don't originally actually plan on going to the finals because they really only entered the competition to prove that they could do well for an American audience, and they already did that. Mitchie shows the Wonder Girls that the schoolgirls are publicly trash-talking them on the internet, so the Wonder Girls decide that they actually will be competing. The Wonder Girls also attend a warehouse party to confront the schoolgirls. This scene did not need to be there. It's really only there so they can have a Nick Cannon cameo, as well as tie in the song The DJ Is Mine, which, side note, went number 9 on the K-pop charts. It was a collaborative song between the Wonder Girls and the schoolgirls. They also use this scene to begin a romance between Yenny and Skills, who is the DJ at the party, which truly is only there because it's a teen movie, and I think that they thought they had to add a romance. They did not. It doesn't add anything to the plot. I do not care about that man. I'm just throwing that out there. The Wonder Girls get into a fight because Yenny is taking the competition very seriously, and the other girls kind of don't care because they're literally professional singers and they are on tour. Yenny calls Betty crying, and the two bring all the Wonder Girls to Betty's apartment, where Yenny apologizes and said they do not have to do the competition. The girls reconcile, decide they're going to actually compete in the competition. Betty feeds the girls soul food, which immediately puts them to sleep. They end up sleeping through the night and missing their curfew. They get back to the hotel, and JYP's very mad at them, and he brings out 5 giant bodyguards, 1 per girl, to watch the girls so they can't keep missing their curfew. Mitchie gives the guards soul food, which knocks them out, so the girls can sneak out to the Apollo. I want to take a pause right here to point out that the plot point of using soul food as something that knocks people out, when it's like clearly tied that soul food is tied to Black Americans, as both people who give everyone soul food is Black Americans, plays on multiple racist stereotypes that are weaponized against Black Americans. First, much of the soul food is fried chicken, which is playing on the racist stereotype that Black people love fried chicken. This emerged during slavery, as white Americans would assign foods to Black people in order to demean them. This continued into Jim Crow and Reconstruction era America. Overall, for a lot of America's history, fried chicken has been associated with Black peoples and repeatedly in racist depictions of Black people, to the point that it has become a negative racial stereotype. So, plot point also plays on the stereotype that Black people are lazy, as utilizing food associated with Black people as a plot device that makes people fall asleep is a play on the stereotype that Black people are lazy. This is a stereotype which emerged in the Jim Crow era, and the stereotype has historically been used by white Americans to paint Black Americans as less than and justify their enslavement. I just wanted to point that out. And back to the plot. The Wonder Girls then, after sneaking out, get into a limo that they believe the Apollo sent them to bring them to the competition. However, the limo was actually sent to them by the schoolgirls, who were sending them to the wrong place so that they would miss the competition. Meanwhile, JYP notices the girls are missing and tries to find them. The Wonder Girls end up actually making it to the competition just in time. Everyone performs. People really love their performance. But at the last minute, the Wonder Girls actually back out of the competition, as this is an amateur competition and they are a professional group. So the schoolgirls end up winning. The end of the movie ends with the schoolgirls being signed by JYP and then opening for the Wonder Girls on their tour. So this movie came out, and I want to talk about what happened with both of these groups post the movie coming out, as this movie was supposed to be, like I said, it was supposed to be the Wonder Girls' kind of big push into the American market. They had already been doing shows in America. They had already toured with a big American group, the Jonas Brothers, and they had already charted pretty high on the Billboard 200. So next up was this movie, and it was really supposed to be solidifying this push into America. When it came to the schoolgirls, this was supposed to really boost their profile kind of in America, as they were really not a very well-known group. So starting with the Wonder Girls, after the movie came out, it really marked the end of their push into the American market. After multiple years mostly promoting in America, the Wonder Girls took a 3-year hiatus. During this time, Soonmi and Sohee left the group. Soonmi returned to the group, and in 2015 they released their final album, Reboot. In 2016, they released their #1 single, Why So Lonely, and in 2017 they officially disbanded after unsuccessful contract renewals. Their last release was their 2017 single, Draw Me, celebrating their 10-year anniversary. So now moving on to the Schoolgirls, in 2012, the group announced their third album, and later that they were rebranding and now going by the name Forever. And this announcement and subsequent rebrand happened pretty soon after the Wonder Girls movie came out. However, also in 2012, the group ended up disbanding. Overall, the movie did not do what it was intended to do. The Schoolgirls were largely forgotten, and the Wonder Girls, while they were trailblazers, introducing K-pop to the American market, and they were, like, in their own right, a huge group in Korea. They did not actually make the mark on the American market that they intended to. And I think, at least if it comes down to the movie, there was so much about this movie that I personally think was why it did not do super well. From what I can tell, the production was very rushed. I read that the girls were working 12 to 15 hours every day. They really had no time to put this movie together. And I think it shows in the movie, honestly. It's really rushed in the pacing of the movie as well, and you kind of don't feel all of the moments that are supposed to be emotional. I just didn't feel it. So I think it was kind of dull, and I don't blame the people in the movie. I think the Wonder Girls and the Schoolgirls did fine. I think the writing was questionable at best, which, to be fair, is kind of to be expected with a Teen Nick movie. And the plot was just kind of weird and didn't really make a ton of sense. Overall, it was just an okay movie. I think also the Wonder Girls quitting their push into the American market post the movie could have had something to do with it. I think if they had continued trying to push into a younger market, they could have, and this movie could have supported that. But considering they just stopped all promotions and went on hiatus, that pretty much stopped their popularity everywhere. When it came to the Schoolgirls, I just don't think they were a group that was going to get very popular. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that their first movie was seemingly not very well received, and they proceeded to just keep having member turnover, which is really not helpful when the group was just trying to get their feet off the ground. So, yeah, overall, this movie kind of didn't do anything for anyone. Thank you for watching. I will see y'all later.